In the stillness of a quiet hospital ward, the fluorescent lights flickered erratically, casting an unsettling glow over the pale walls. The scent of antiseptic mixed uncomfortably with the faintest hint of something familiar, something that stirred buried memories. Among the occupants of this sterile space was Thomas, an ex-prisoner, whose past reverberated through the air like a haunting echo. He sat alone on the edge of his bed, fingers nervously tapping against his thigh, lost in a labyrinth of guilt and regret. Once a man defined by chaos, Thomas now found himself enveloped in an eerie tranquility. The soft rustle of nurses and the distant beeping of machines were a stark contrast to the cacophony of his former life. He had spent 5 long years in the confines of a cold cell, but the shadows of his choices were far from behind him. The ward held a different kind of confinement, an emotional prison where he was forced to confront the demons that lingered just outside his consciousness. His mind wandered to his estranged daughter, Sarah. The last time they spoke had been filled with accusations and blame, a bitter farewell tinged with tears unshed and words unspoken. He had made choices that shattered their bond, and now he grappled painfully with the distance of their fractured relationship. If only he could turn back time, erase the pain he had caused her. An image of her youthful face, filled with confusion and disappointment, haunted his thoughts. As he stared blankly at the floor, lost in contemplation, an unexpected sound sliced through the silence, a ringing phone. The device, a relic from another era, sat abandoned on the bedside table. Thomas's heart raced as he grasped the receiver, the weight of uncertainty bearing down on him. An icy dread pooled in his stomach. Who could be calling, and why now? He hesitated, debating whether to answer, but instinct propelled him forward. "Hello?" he uttered, his voice trembling. Instead of a voice, he was met with hesitant silence, followed by a deep, shuddering breath. "Dad?" It was Sarah. The sound shattered the fragile silence of the ward, filling the space with electricity. Her voice, so familiar yet foreign, sent a shiver down his spine. "Is it really you?" he gasped, the weight of weeks spent in darkness evaporating, replaced by a flicker of hope. The connection was tenuous, like a fragile thread that could snap at any moment. To his surprise, she continued, her voice breaking, "I'm coming to see you." The news struck him as both a gift and a curse. The anticipation of their reunion filled him with dread. Could he ever redeem himself? The hours dragged, each minute stretching into infinity, as he replayed their last encounter in his mind. He could still hear her voice tainted with hurt and anger. How could he explain his choices, the desperate circumstances that had led him to prison? When Sarah arrived, the atmosphere shifted like a storm brewing beneath the surface. She stood at the door, hesitant, her eyes reflecting a medley of emotions: fear, confusion, and a glimmer of hope. The hospital ward, once a refuge, now felt like an arena where they would confront unspoken truths. "Why did you come?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Because you're still my dad," she replied, tears glistening in her eyes. "And I need to understand." "I need to know why." Thomas felt the weight of her words settle heavily on his chest. The conversation began to unfold, each exchange fraught with raw honesty, allowing the unsaid to echo loudly between them. He divulged the harrowing tale of choices made in desperation, the way life had spiraled out of his control. With every heartbreaking revelation, he could see Sarah's tension ease slightly, revealing perhaps a glimpse of empathy beneath her hurt. Then unexpectedly the phone rang again, disrupting their fragile moment. The familiar dread gripped him anew, but this time it felt different. He answered only to hear the voice on the other line take on an unsettling tone. "You think you can escape your past, Thomas?" It was an unknown voice, laced with malice, sending chills racing down his spine. "Who is this?" he gasped. "Just someone who knows how your story ends." The line went dead, leaving behind an oppressive silence, thick with unease. Thomas turned back to Sarah, the connection re-established but marred by the shadows of uncertainty. They exchanged a glance filled with a myriad of emotions: fear, understanding, and a tentative step toward healing. In that moment, the complexity of their relationship shifted. Understanding began to blossom from the unlikeliest of soil: pain. As they stood together, a truth emerged. Generational conflict was not just a chasm, but a bridge. It was built on shared experiences, fraught with misunderstanding yet resilient enough to connect their pasts to an uncertain future. Despite the unsettling call, as they embraced, the warmth spread through the confines of the ward, offering both a reunion and a sense of hope. In the lingering silence, it dawned on Thomas that while the past could never be changed, the future remained unwritten. The foundation of their relationship began to transform, moving from guilt to a shared understanding of pain and love, an unexpected beginning in the wake of an unsettling yet meaningful revelation.